Hello folks, this is Solo speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is taken from a double up game with Headwinder. This is going to be a team composition that I have played some before, but there's an interesting wrinkle with it. So you're going to see the incredible teleporting 4-star Violet in this game. So yes, this is another family / pit fighter reroll featuring Violet and Draven and some of the other 1 and 2 cost pit fighter units. But as I said, we have kind of a different wrinkle in this one because I'm going to get one of the artifact items that you don't see very often, but leads to some very funny and amusing gameplay. And that's the main reason why I wanted to cast this one, even though it might be some of the gameplay that I've shown to some extent in some of the other TFT videos that I put on YouTube before. Okay, so we are on the first full patch of set 13. There were, I said this in the previous video, like B and C and D patches for the previous release patch, but this is the first full patch that we've had here in set 13. And most people kind of thought that the Violet Pit Fighter reroll would end up getting nerfed, but it kind of didn't, or the nerfs, I think it got 1 or 2 nerfs in the big patch that came out, but like they ended up not being that significant, and this comp is still very playable, and in fact it's still one of the best comps that you can play, and I am definitely getting some of the pieces to play it. I had an initial Violet, and then I had a Vander drop, and then I have 2 Dariuses, and then I get 2 more Violets and a Powder. I was like, okay, I have gotten like a lot of pieces to play this comp, and then I'm going to go ahead and get a Darius send over from Headwinder. So I have 2-star Darius, 2-star Violet, and a Vander and a Powder here already. The only thing I'm missing to play this now is Draven, so we're going to be on the lookout for Dravens. But you know, like, if you get this many pieces of the comp to start, you might as well look to play this because it's still pretty strong here in the version of the patch, in the version of set 13 that we're playing. Anyway, items not quite is what I'm looking for here, but the sword can be like half of a Bloodthirster, the bow can be like half of a Titan's, could even make a Sterix if I wanted to, but I think I'd prefer to try to get a better item here. Also some interesting choices. The first augment is silver, and I thought about Blistering Strikes, which is pretty good for any auto-attacking based team composition, but I do have this Latent Forge. After 8 player combats, gain an artifact anvil, and there's a whole bunch of artifacts that are really, really good on the Violet reroll. There's like 3 or 4 different artifacts that are supposed to be really, really strong on her. So I opt to take this, and I figure I can definitely get something useful here. But I definitely want one that's like good on a melee AD unit. I'm going to try to find something like that, and then try to put, see if I can put something good on Violet. So I get nothing here for the time being. I have to wait for 8 rounds. But I think my board's, reasonably strong, given that I only have 3 units, and I'm going to be up against level 4 boards, just because I have 2-star Draven and 2-star Darius and 2-star Violet already. Now, unfortunately, I'm not hitting Pit Fighter trait yet because I need to find Draven for that. But if I can find Draven, I'll definitely look to put that in. So like, I don't actually have Family trait in, and I don't actually have Pit Fighter trait in thus far. So like, I'm close on some of these synergies, but I'm not quite there yet. And of course, I don't want to level and put in Powder because this is a 1-cost reroll build. Anytime you're playing 1-cost reroll, you do not want to level early. Most of you watching this video probably know that, but it doesn't hurt to state that from time to time for anyone who might be new here. So yeah, I'm definitely looking to try to find Draven. It's kind of the main piece that I'm missing here. And oh, there he is. Okay, so I'll definitely look to play the Draven here. And I will take out the Vander for the time being because I'd rather have Conquer and Pit Fighter in than have just Watcher trait. This way I can start to get at least a few of those Conqueror stacks. It's the little banner down there in the bottom right-hand corner. Again, if you're watching this video, you probably already know this, but when Conqueror units get kills, they put stacks on the little banner, and the first little cash out is at 10 stacks, which gives you 2 gold. Always gives you 2 gold, so just to make a little progress towards that would be pretty nice. Now I'm up against another level 4 board here, and I'm only level 3, so it's going to be a little bit trickier to do that, but I do have a number of 2-star units here, so maybe I can get some of these. Looks like I'm probably going to fall a little bit short here unless Violet just goes completely nuts and kills everything here. Let's see. Oh, she's getting hit by the Zyra. Can she manage to clutch this fight out? Who wins this, Trist or the Draven? It's actually really close between the 2 of these. Who's going to win? Draven, you got this? Ah, no. Okay, the fact that that board was level 4 and I was level 3 definitely made a difference there. But now I will get to play in other units. We can put the Vander on the board. Let's go ahead and put Vander. I would definitely need to play Vander here. Violet, or excuse me, Powder doesn't do anything on her own. She would just get me like most of family trait, but not actually put family trait in. The good news is that Headwinder's already found a 2-star Draven over there, so he'll be able to send that over to me with the next send, and then that means we're already at 4 Dravens between us. And then I'll have 2-star Darius, 2-star Violet, and 2-star Draven, which are like all the core pieces of getting this comp in play early on, and we'll just go from there. The other good part of this is I'm not being contested on this build. Like, you might see this other person Curry Puff, and like they have some of these units, but they actually do not end up re-rolling. They end up leveling instead of looking to re-roll these units. And you can kind of tell because, I was going to say you can kind of tell because they're already level 4, but I guess that this is the one round where you would be level 4 even if you weren't leveling. But I believe they go to level 5 on the next round, and they would end up just like doing a normal leveling curve and not a re-rolling build, which I was quite pleased to see. So I am going to be uncontested on this build, and that's going to be pretty nice indeed. All right, now I actually get second pick on the carousel because I did lose the first 2 rounds. So I'm looking at the different options here, and there's actually another Draven with a rod on the carousel. So I'm going to look to grab that because even though rods are typically not good in this team composition, I have a bow sitting on my bench, and this will allow me to make a Rage Blade for the Draven, which is one of his best items, and it also gives me another Draven. So that's actually now 5 Dravens that I have, 2 on my board, and then the 2-star is going to come over from Headwinder. So like this just lets me make a really useful item. And it also does continue to make progress towards getting a Draven 3-star, or yeah, towards a Draven 3-star. And look, and then there's another Draven in my store, so I was pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with how that played out. The one downside is I didn't grab like a cloak to make like a Bloodthirster for Violet, which I would like to get if possible. I would love to get her. Bloodthirster is one of her best items because it just gives her that additional life steal and the shield when she takes damage. But I think I'm pretty happy with taking that Draven off the carousel. So now I did lose the first 2 rounds. I'm hoping I can win streak here. I would love to kill 3 units and get the, as I said, the 10 Conqueror stack over there with the little banner. This person has the Singed hero augment, which is actually supposed to be the only hero augment that's like genuinely strong right now. And they do have the 2-star Singed, but the rest of their team is pretty weak. So I think I have enough to win this round. It does look like I'm going to be able to get up to the 10 stacks and get the extra +2 gold next round. And for winning the round, I also get to 20 gold. So that's pretty nice. So yeah, looking pretty strong here. And off we go. This is especially good considering that the initial augment I got absolutely nothing from whatsoever, or at least I won't get anything from it for a little while. Anyway, pick up the Darius here. I would like to 3-star Darius if possible, but over comes the 2-star Draven, and there we go. So now I do have 6 Dravens already and 4 Dariuses. I haven't seen any Violets since that initial minion round, but we'll keep an eye out. As I said, no one else seems to be playing these units, so I think I'll be pretty uncontested. And, you know, we're just kind of cruising along here. Over on Headwinder's board, he is looking to try to do a Dominator setup playing through Ziggs. He's actually going to go for 3-star Ziggs in this game because we had heard that Ziggs is pretty strong. And this patch, Dominator seemed to be pretty strong overall, and Ziggs is like good in the early and mid game. He will, of course, fall off in the late game because he's only a 2-cost unit. But he's a pretty good unit in this patch, and we decided we'd give it a try, and he actually worked out pretty well in this game. So if it looks like it's uncontested, rerolling for Ziggs actually seems like it's pretty decent, and then just adding more Dominators on top of that. By the way, I win that round and get the 30 gold, so I'm pretty happy with that considering that I've actually spent a decent amount of gold on my board, and I still was able to get to the 30 gold, which is pretty nice. All right, we have the send back up, and I was thinking about what I could potentially send to Headwinder, and I believe I send him the Cassiopeia here that's in my shop because he's going to lean a little bit more heavily into the Dominator build. He's going to play like the Ziggs, the Blitzcrank, the Cassiopeia, and I think he tries to get up to 6 Dominators eventually, but that'll be later on down the road. On my build, I'm playing, again, Family Pit Fighter reroll featuring Violet. So far, Violet hasn't really done that much yet, but I'm hoping I can get some more items for her and continue to make her stronger overall here. In the meantime, though, I'm looking at what pops out, and I actually get another Cassiopeia here, so I guess I theoretically could have sent that as well. And I also get the components for another Rage Blade here. Of course, I do not actually want to make another Rage Blade with this build. There's no one else in this team composition that can really use it. I guess in like the extreme late game, I could try to play Jinx, and like Jinx could use it. but that's pretty far down the road. So I'm going to end up, I think I end up holding this Blitzcrank to send over to Headwinder. Yeah, and because I was uncontested, I decided I would not roll below 50 gold. I end up staying here right at, well, I guess technically 49 gold. But I decided I would stay here because I had looked at the other boards and it didn't look like I was contested. If I was being contested, I would probably roll down to at least 30 and maybe down to 20. Just to try to get those units out of the pool before the other person I'm contesting with. But as I said, when you're not contested, you can afford to slow play things a little bit more. This person is playing a quick striker board. It looks like they're going to reroll for the Nocturne. And they've actually found a very early Ambessa, which is not good for me. It means I'm probably not going to win this round. An Ambessa this early is pretty strong. And I think it actually let them play 4 quick strikers over there. Did they get all of them? I can't remember if they had TF on that board or not, but yeah. So I do lose that round, but it's a narrow loss, and that's not a bad loss. I would have liked to have kept that win streak going, especially because it would have gotten me back to 50 gold again, but it is what it is. I'm still in pretty good position overall. And now we're going to get our second augment for this game. So it's another silver. Let's see. I'm not going to recombobulate. I'm pretty happy with what I've got here. Looking at these different options, Thieves' Glove's never terrible. I decided I'm going to try the one on the right, Eye for an Eye. Gain a random component for every 13 allied champions that die, gain another component. So in theory, I can get up to 4 components from this, but it's going to take a while, and it relies on my units dying over the course of the game, so we'll see. Again, it's a silver augment, so it's not like that huge of a deal, but I think that that's probably better than some of the other options. Oh, and here I have the choice of holding a Blitzcrank or holding Ziggs for Headwinder. I think that he told me to hold the Ziggs because he's trying to 3-star the Ziggs. So anyway, I found one more Violet and I found a second Vander. So, but I also managed to get Family Trait in for the first time. Again, if you are unfamiliar with this trait, Family Trait is a really unusual trait. Only on 3 units, Vander, Violet, and Powder. So there's no flexibility. You have to play all 3 of these units no matter what if you want to play Family. And it reduces the mana cost on all these units. I think it cuts their mana cost by 25%. And then as you play, in order to play deeper into the trait, you have to get emblems. But it cuts the mana further and gives you some bonus stuff. I think you get like some bonus attack speed and some bonus durability if you can get up to the higher tiers. But you do need to get an emblem to get that, which is going to be pretty rare overall. Still, this is the core of the comp. It's the 3 family units, and then you add Draven and Darius, which puts Conquer and Pitfighter traits in play, and Watcher. It makes Conquer, Pitfighter, Watcher the other 3 traits I'm playing. And then you just add more pit fighters as you level up from here. But I definitely need to hit some of these 3 stars if I'm going to play them. There's an early Silco, but that's not really useful on the board that I'm playing, unfortunately. This is a better shop. 2-star Vander and another Violet. So 6 Dravens, 5 Violets, and Headwinder has a 2-star Violet and a 2-star Powder over there. He's rerolling for Ziggs, and he's been hitting some of my units as well. So I believe he ends up sending me the... oh, by the way, we're going to move the tank items over to Vander, because now that I've 2-starred him, he's definitely a better tank in a family board than the Darius is. He's going to end up sending me a 2-star Violet as soon as this sends up. So we basically have 8 Violets between us. So we're actually not far away from that 3-star either. And then I guess technically we have 6 Powders between us, but I believe he ends up selling the Powders long term because there's just only so many sends that we have available, and it actually doesn't really matter if I 3-star the Powder or not. She's really just on the board as a trait bot. She's not really an important unit in the version of this build I'm playing. I know I uploaded that one game back around Thanksgiving in the US where it was Powder was the main carry, but that was kind of a wonky build that I wouldn't really anticipate duplicating. This is more of the standard way that people play this. All right, so I am last pick. I know I'm just going to get what's left over. I would definitely take the frying pan if it was there, because I think I could make something good with that. I think you can make Pitfighter. You can make Pitfighter emblem if you have that, but of course that gets snapped up. Would not mind a cloak because I could do Bloodthirster on Violet with that, but that gets taken. So I was like, all right, I'll just take this Vi because I will want to play Vi on this board eventually. Remember, after you get these 5 units in that I have in right now, and then you just go more Pit Fighters after that. So to just get a Vi for free is going to be pretty nice, and I'll definitely look to play that as time goes on. By the way, there's the extra Violet coming over. It is a gift round for double up, and I believe that Headwinder ends up taking the Thief's Glove here, from what I remember. Yeah, so going to send that over. But hey, it's been 8 rounds. Now I get to pull my artifact item in. Ooh, Silvermere Dawn and Spectral Cutlass. Both of these are supposed to be very, very good on Violet. And I thought about the Silvermere Dawn, but I wasn't exactly sure. Silvermere Dawn gives you a tremendous amount of attack damage at the cost of sucking away almost all of your attack speed. It's supposed to be really good on Violet, but I wasn't quite sure. I hadn't looked at the stats on what artifacts are good on what champions. I should have just pulled up the list of what artifact items are really good on Violet before I pulled this, so I could look them up real quick. So anyway, Silvermere Dawn would have been really, really good, but I ended up taking this one instead, Spectral Cutlass. It gives 40% attack speed, it gives 40 armor and MR, and then it has this, and it also gives some critical strike chance, but it also has this unique property, which is at the start of combat, the unit that holds it teleports to the mirrored hex on the other side, and then they come back to your side after 6 seconds. So they basically blink over to the other side of the arena, and then they come back 6 seconds later. By the way, there's the Vlad popping up is for having 35 Conqueror stacks, so I just get 5 gold out of that. And fortunately, I get another Draven. I'm also going to take a Thief's Glove myself here, and I think I just slapped this on Darius for the time being. But anyway, I'm trying to hit one more Violet here. I have another Darius, but I don't think that's worth. I don't think I have space for that. I could drop actually I should probably drop the Powder for that and pick up the Darius, because Darius is more important on this comp than Powder is. But yeah, a little bit empty there. I didn't quite hit what I was looking for. Anyway, back to the Spectral Cutlass. As I said, you blink to the other side, and then they go over there for, I think it's 6 seconds, and then they come back again after that happens. And it basically functions like a Zephyr. It's mirrored to the other side. So if you're like me and you remember having Zephyrs, you can place this pretty well. So look at this. Violet blinks into the backline, jumps right on top of the enemy Lux, who's holding all the carry items on this board, and instantly kills the unit at the start of the fight. So even though Violet dies in the process, we've taken out all the damage on the enemy team. There's no damage left there. So I'm hoping that Draven can just kill everything. He does a Pit Fighter trait, so he's going to heal a little bit of the damage he's doing. Does he have enough to finish off that unit? Up now it's down to just Powder and the Vex over there, this little slap fight on the two sides. You got this. All right, it looks like Powder barely wins that one, which is nice because it maintains a 4-match win streak. All right, so I definitely want this Ziggs. I'm trying to make 2-star Ziggs. Oh, come on, can we got to sell something. Got to sell the Powder there. I really want this Vander as well, but I don't have bench space for it. It's like, can we hit? All right, I hit the Ziggs, and that's really key because now I can send the Ziggs over to Headwinder 1 round before our Champion Send transforms. Remember, at the start of stage 4, the Send transforms, the Champion Send, and it takes longer to go on cooldown. You can also send 4 and 5 cost units, but it takes longer to go on cooldown after that. So yeah, I managed to get that off just in time, and I am on 8 Dravens and 8 Violets, so let's see if I can hit the 2 of them. We'll pick up these extra Powders here, and now I wish Headwinder had held that 2-star Powder, because I could definitely, if he'd been able to hold on to that unit, then we'd be close to the Powder, but he's holding Vanders, and that's a more important unit to hold anyway. By the way, there we go. Finally going to hit that. So now I have 3-star Violet, and I have 3-star Draven. I definitely want to put some items on them, so I'll go ahead and do Infinity Edge for Draven. That's pretty straightforward. And then I have a ton of swords here. I wasn't quite sure what to do with all these swords, but I was like, all right, you know what? I'll go ahead and make Asterix, which is a pretty good item on Violet. It's not like her best item. Her best items are probably Bloodthirster, Titans. Those 2 are probably her 2 best items. By the way, in this fight, Violet gets jumped on by the enemy carries, but then she does blink back to my side, so she survives. Actually worked out pretty well. There's a decent case to be made that her final item should be Edge of Night, because then she can aggression drop if she gets focused in the enemy backline like that. But unfortunately, I do not have another vest. I actually have not gotten a vest the entire game yet. But anyway, I was thinking about what that last item would be. I was kind of hoping to do either Bloodthirster or Edge of Night for my final Violet item. But then I get this for my last augment. It's Prismatic. And there's Freaky Friday here. Gain an Infinity Force. After 3 combats, gain another one. I was like, okay, that works there. You know, there actually was that Moonlight one, which upgrades a 1-cost unit to, a 3-star 1-cost unit to 4 stars. I actually could have potentially taken that. I wish I'd looked at that one a little bit longer. I could have potentially had either Violet or Draven becoming a 4-star unit. But I actually was pretty happy with getting the Infinity, the Trinity Force. Because one of them I can put on Violet, and then I can put the other one on Vi, and this is always a really good item for melee carries. It just gives them a tremendous amount of stats that are always really good on melee units. So I have 2 good units that can use them, and the stats will be really good. And so now Violet will be blinking into the back lines with the Spectral Cutlass, which has a lot of stats on it, and then also the Trinity Force as well. And because I have so many swords on my board, I need to start making use of some of these swords. I go ahead and make a Gunblade for the Vi over there. It's not a great item because it is more of a team item. The Gunblade's been reworked in this set such that there's less healing for the unit themselves, and it has more of the team heal aspect. More of the damage goes to healing your teammates and less goes to healing yourself. But I just didn't have anything to do with that rod, and I had so many swords. I wanted to do something with it. I didn't want to do like a Spear of Shojin. That wasn't going to be helpful. I could theoretically do a Giant Slayer, but that's not a great Vi item either, and I'm kind of hoping that I can maybe get like a Titan's Resolve. But anyway, so I just needed to kill a rod, and I didn't have a good use. It's not like I have a good Archangel Staff user. I'm not trying to itemize the Powder, because Powder does not have Pit Fighter trait, and that's kind of the trait that I'm playing through here. So anyway, I am going to grab some additional Pit Fighters. I'm looking to try to hit the 3-star Vander right now, and I'm on 8 of them. By the way, Headwinder is sending me a 2-star Vander, very nice. And that's ultimately why he didn't send me a 2-star Powder, is he wanted to use the sends on better units. Like, he used the send on, you can see I'm clearing the powders because I'm clearly not going to 3-star this unit. He went ahead and sent the, what is it? He sent the 2-star Draven, and he sent the 2-star Violet, and now he sent the 2-star Vander. And like, these are just much more important units to use the send on in this team composition. So, I mean, he's not going to get the send back until like almost the end of like middle of stage 5. And by then having 3-star powder is kind of going to be pointless. So yeah, that's why we ultimately gave up on trying to 3-star that unit. And it wouldn't be worth just staying here at low levels for that purpose. Okay, so I would just want to hit one more Vander, and then I'll be in a position where I can look to go to start leveling basically and playing more Pit Fighters. There's actually a Vander here on the carousel, so that would be nice to get. See if I can just take the Vander, and then that'll be Vander 3-star right there. And it looks like he's still there, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab him. And there we go. Now we have Vander 3-star, so that was easy enough. Now I kind of wish that I had held off on making the... hold on. Did I go ahead and make Bloodthirster for Vi here? I can't remember if I did that or not. Did I go ahead and... I should have just made the Bloodthirster for Vi. Did I do that? I think I should have done that. Or did I end up making Adaptive Helm here instead? Okay, I guess I ended up wanting to... Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to kill these tiers. I had too many tiers. I wanted to get rid of the tiers. So I ended up making Adaptive Helm anyway. And now I'm just going to put in the Gangplank for 4 Pit Fighters. Higher tiers of Pit Fighter will give me significantly more in the way of the... not the Omnivamp. Pit Fighter doesn't increase... Going higher tiers of Pit Fighter doesn't increase the Omnivamp that people get from the trait. But what it does do is it increases the amount of true damage that their units are doing. Pit Fighters deal bonus true damage in addition to their normal damage. And in addition to that, it also means they get a bigger heal when they drop lower. So that's going to be pretty nice. Once again, Violet jumps into the backline, kills something, and then teleports back again. She's been doing a lot of work in terms of taking out enemy carries in these fights. And now it's going to be time for the anomaly round here. So we're going to go ahead and see what we get. And they have, in this patch, the developers did change the anomalies so that you can get repeats if you roll a lot, because people were forcing anomalies. They were like rolling 50 gold until they got the exact anomaly they wanted. So, all right, I don't want this crab one. Scuttle Familiar, that's no good. We'll put the Infinity Force on Vi. Mini-Me's, I don't think that's it. No, that's not it. Diving in, maybe. And then, Ultimate Hero. After 3 rounds, star up a 3-star 1-cost champion to 4 stars. This was one of the ones that everybody was forcing, particularly with Violet reroll being in a really strong place. They have nerfed it, so now the effect takes 3 rounds to go off instead of happening immediately. But like, we're clearly in a strong enough position that we can wait out the 3 rounds and it's not going to be a big deal. But like, if we were on 10 HP, like that one team, obviously you wouldn't want to take this. Still, this does mean that now Violet's going to be a 4-star unit in 3 rounds. She's going to get all the bonus stats from being a 4-star unit. And like, you can see right now, what I'm starting to do is, now that I don't have to spend as much time fiddling with my board, I've kind of already got my board stat. I'm just trying to rush up to level 9 right now so I can play 6 Pit Fighters. I'm on level 7 now. I can play Urgot on level 8, and then I can play Savika on level 9. unless I find Savika sooner than that. But like now I don't really have to fool with my board. I'm just trying to power level here. Now I can try to position Violet so she teleports into the back lines and kills key targets. And this fight's going to be a perfect example of this. So this person's playing a Sentinel Academy board. I actually played a team very similar to this in the previous video I put on YouTube. But look at Violet. She just jumps in the back line. She kills Ezreal. She kills Lux. And it's like, well, there goes all your carries. I mean, that person is a very, very tanky Alawi in the front line. It's Alawi 2-star with a Radiant Redemption. Like, that's a very tanky unit. But it doesn't really matter because Violet just kills the back line instantly at the start of the fight. Also, having a Pit Fighter build is nice because we do that true damage, and all the resistances on all of the Alawi's resistances don't really matter against that true damage. All right, meanwhile, over there, Headwinder is still putting his board together. He hadn't really played this board previously, so he didn't have a lot of experience, and he kind of was low-rolling this game, which certainly happens to me in some of the games that I play as well, but it made more sense to... this was one of the games where my point of view was more interesting than his point of view. Sometimes it's been the opposite. But yeah, so I actually get a Jinx at 1% odds in my store, and although Jinx is not like the absolute best fit for this comp, Jinx is not a bad fit either. So I'm going to look to go ahead and definitely play that unit as well, because there's no point in putting Urgot in for 5 Pit Fighters. Although now we finally can make some defensive items up here. So I was like, I'd love to make Titan's Resolve for the Vi. Is there any chance I can do that? I was thinking of making this for the Vi, but then I was like, no, I actually do want to get more frontline items for Vander because he's my only tank. But then I forget that I could have pulled this component anvil, and I was like, okay. Well, it did make me feel better because there wasn't a cloak here for Bloodthirster, and there wasn't a vest here for whatchamacallit. There wasn't a vest here to make Edge of Night, which are the items I was looking for the Vi. But I definitely should have pulled that item first. That certainly would have been nicer there. So a little bit wonky itemization. I don't love the items that Vi has here, and I think maybe I could have done a little bit better in terms of what I got. But, I mean, Vander has, like, decent enough tank items. These aren't, like, the world's greatest tank items on Vander, but they're good enough. And the big issue for me is I had double tiers dropped from that minion round, so I had to do something with those tiers. I made Adaptive Helm and Protector's Vow, which I think was a good way to kill 2 tiers that I really did not have any use for. All right, it's time for the last gift round here in Double Up. I believe I send the completed item anvil over to Headwinder. Pretty standard in terms of what you're sending over there. By the way, note that when it says artifact item, you don't get to choose the artifact, which is one reason why we usually don't take that one. Still, now I've got the Jinx, so I'll go ahead and put the bow on Jinx. By the way, I am trying to get a better person to put my Thief's Glove on. I'm aware I still have the Thief's Glove on a Darius, who is not really the unit I want this on, but like, who else would I put it on right now? I can't put it on like Vi or Violet or Draven. They're all fully itemized. Could I put it on Powder? I think it's better on Darius than on Powder. A 1-star Gangplank, that doesn't seem very good. So I guess I could have put it on the Jinx, but I was actually hoping I could put like real items on Jinx. All right, anyway, now I have the 4-star Violet, so she's going to jump in the back line and start punching people. This person is a 3-star Cog, and it's like, wow, that looks pretty scary if Cog manages to get completely scaled up. But Violet just jumps in the background and kills Cog instantly. At this point, I started to think, like, why are people not positioning around this? They have to see that I have this Spectral Cutlass. Like, are they ever going to move their units out of the way? They do realize what's happening here, right? But so far they haven't been reacting accordingly. So I was like, all right, I will continue to have teleporting assassin Violet jump in the back lines and punch your carries to death until you actually position your units properly. Oh boy. So anyway, this is the gift round, and I'm going to go ahead and get 2 components. The components I get are not really what I'm looking for. I was kind of looking for items that could go on Jinx or potentially later on Savika, but I have not found Savika yet. So the most consistent way to find Savika is to go to level 9 and then roll there. And I have to be level 9 to play 6 Pit Fighters anyway, so I'm just rushing level 9, and I'm hoping I can find Savika there. I would have to take Jinx off the board in order to do that, and I've kind of made Jinx items, even though Jinx is going to come off the board later on. But in a pinch, I can take these items that are on Jinx and put them on Backline Gangplank, which again would not be like, it's not like Rageblade's a good item on Backline Gangplank, as once again that 3-star Trist gets instantly deleted by Violet. It's not like Rageblade would be a good item on Gangplank, but I could at least put it on him and I would get at least some value out of it. So I kind of made items for Jinx, even though she's going to come off the board once I have 6 Pit Fighters. But I don't know, maybe I'll get like a Pit Fighter emblem or something like that, or maybe the game doesn't even last that long because these other teams are on 3 HP and 1 HP. All right, well, now it's time to pick off the carousel here. and there's not really a ton that I want here this badly. There's no units that I want here. There's not really any items that I want here either. But as it turns out, Headwinder actually is playing through Silco, and he's trying to make 2-star Silco. So I end up grabbing the Silco just to send it to him, even though Ionic Spark is like not useful for me. My comp's all physical damage. This Ionic Spark is pretty useless, but this does allow me to send a Silco over to Headwinder. It makes 2 out of 3 Silcos for him, so it doesn't get him Silco 2-star, but it's going to get him closer. So this is just me trying to help out his board. And it's not like any of the other items on that carousel were especially useful. So, all right, frontline Gangplank, you can go ahead and take this as much as you want. So, yeah. And then I believe I send the Silco. I don't know if it's this round or next round, but I think I get that send off sooner or later one of these rounds. All right, well, I guess it wasn't this round. It must have been the next round. Anyway, so we're going to have Violet, and she's going to teleport into the back lines. This person, again, didn't really have a good carry to kill, but, you know, we'll still kill the emissaries in the back line. This person's playing, I think, a 4 emissary plus quick striker reroll. So we take out a good portion of the back lines, and, you know, that Nocturne's not irrelevant, but the Nocturne's definitely not as strong as the 4-star Violet. I hate it when I have Vi and Violet on the board at the same time. We actually have Vi and Violet along with Jinx and Powder here, so lore confusion for the win. Oh, and I finally had enough units of mine die to activate another item component. Remember that second silver augment that I took way back when? I actually get more components as my team members die. And hey, look, it did work out. We managed to make 2-star Silco for Headwinder's board. Now both of these teams in the lobby are down to 1 HP remaining, although I think one of them is on the fake 1 HP, so like they actually have to lose 2 rounds. I don't know. I'm just going to position Violet in the corner so she can jump after whoever's over here. Which board is it? Oh, it's the Cogmaw board again. All right. Well, so, yep. Let's see what we can do. Gonna punch the punch that Nocturne to death, and then gonna keep punching that Cogmaw. Can we finish the Cog? Oh, she teleported back before she got the Cog. But that Cog's on 1 HP, so he's gonna die to something sooner or later. There we go. Jinx actually got him, and that's gonna be it for that team. And let's see, is that it? That's actually it for the game. Both those teams got knocked out simultaneously, so that's just GG right there. I never actually managed to get to level 9. I would have gone to 9 on the next round. I would have had enough gold from the minion round, and then I just would have needed to find Savika, and I would have gotten the 8 pit fighters in, but apparently not needed. We just wrapped this one up very, very quickly. So, like, not a close game, not an especially challenging game, but this one was just so silly with the 4-star Violet teleporting to the back line over and over and over again. I just wanted to cast this one because it was a lot of fun. I hope this was entertaining to watch. Anyway, until next time, once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a great week, folks, and I'll see you again soon.